there's an energy in people. And that energy, that temperament translates into different actions and different beliefs. People who will hate the church, they will act out on that hatred. And when they act out, that manifests in different ways. So if one group of people hates the church, they're going to support the Ghibellines. They're not, because the Ghibellines are the anti-Christian movement of the day. They're going to support the spiritual Franciscans because the spiritual Franciscans at that time, although they were a religious group, they were people who said, well, the church should not have all this political authority. And here's the thing. This is why I said in one of my prior videos, the mind of a heretic is the mind of a psychopath. The what was it? The Ghibellines, not the Ghibellines, the spiritual Franciscans were people who said, well, we come in the name of poverty. We come in the name of poverty. Poverty, the church should be an institution of poverty. Poverty, this is what the church should be doing all the time. Putting their hands together like this, living in poverty. Poverty should just be poverty. Poverty, that's it. Just live in poverty, everyone. Prayer and humbleness, humility, this is what God wants. But the Vatican is living in luxury and they are influencing kings. This is not the way of God. This is not the way of Christ, because Christ has said that his kingdom is not of this world, and that way, that's because we should be living in poverty. Poverty. We should be living in poverty. But at the same time, you hear about spiritual Franciscans influencing Cola di Renzo, or Cola di Renzi, depending on the translation you read. Nicola di Renzi. Fraticelli, yes, same people. Quietism, yes, this was another form of the same thing. You read about spiritual Franciscans influencing Nicola de Renzi. Nicola de Renzi was a senator in Rome who ended up controlling the entire city of Rome, and he had aspirations of reviving the Roman Empire, not the Holy Roman Empire, but like the Roman Empire of Julius Caesar. And he believed that he could influence the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire to revive the old pagan Roman Empire. And he was influenced by Fraticelli. He was influenced by spiritual Franciscans. So while these heretics will sit there and they will bash the Catholic Church for having political authority, they themselves try to aspire towards political authority. Every heresy, every religious group, be it Christianity, Islam, Judaism, every religious institution will aspire to political influence. It is an inevitable reality of human existence. Every ideology, every religion will try to gain political influence. Why do I say this? Because political influence equals power. And power is not necessarily a bad thing. Many people will hear me and they'll say, well, he's using power as a pejorative term. I am not using power in a negative way, nor am I saying it automatically as a pejorative term. Power is a necessary component of human existence. It's just the reality of it. Just like labor is, just like using people's labor is, just like the dynamic relationship between the worker and the employer. Like this is all part of human existence. There's nothing necessarily wrong with it. But power is what all religious institutions and ideological groups aspire to. We all aspire to power. We all aspire to having power. Why? Because with power, we can reinforce our views. With power, we can expand our views. We can percolate them. We can inundate society with our views. We can shape society in a way that we think is better for humans. That we can shape society in a way that we believe would benefit other people. We all aspire to power. This is just part of every religious organization, and I hate it. I honestly hate it when religious people say we're not trying to influence government. government. We have no interest in that. Our kingdom is not of this world, so therefore no political influence, no political power. And yet, in the book of Acts, Jesus appears before Ananias and says, Ananias, I want you to go to Saul. This is before he became St. Paul. I want you to go to Saul, and I want you to tell him that I'm going to use him. And Ananias says, well, Lord, no, Saul, he murders Christians. And Christ says to Ananias, I will have Saul stand before kings to bring the gospel to kings. Now, why would he specify kings? Because when you have influence over kings, you have power over a society. And that's the bottom line. That is the bottom line, guys.